Support comes from BECU, a member-owned credit union putting people over profit, offering financial services and support to the community with access to local financial centers, over 30,000 ATMs, and online resources at becu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey, good morning. It's Patricia Murphy. It's Wednesday. This is Seattle Now. The warm weather forecast for the upcoming holiday weekend is great news for businesses banking on a slew of newly vaccinated tourists who are more comfortable traveling. In a minute, we'll check in with businesses around one of the city's most iconic destinations. But first, let's get you caught up. Not so breaking news. The cost of buying a home here keeps going up. The latest data out yesterday from Case Shiller says prices jumped more than 18% in Seattle over a year ago. Only Phoenix and San Diego saw bigger gains. Seattle Times reports that over the past 5 years, Seattle home prices have climbed more than 60%. Amazon is challenging a penalty by state labor officials over the pace of picking, packing, lifting, and loading at its DuPont warehouse. The company was fined the maximum $7,000 earlier this month for workplace conditions that led to repetitive stress injuries. The news was reported by the Seattle Times and Public Radio's Reveal. An Amazon spokesperson says nothing is more important than the health and safety of its workers. And if you've been holding out for a more scenic place to get vaccinated, how about aboard a Washington State ferry? Peninsula Community Health Services is offering the Pfizer and J&J vaccine to passengers 12 and up on both Seattle to Bremerton boats today and tomorrow. They'll be back at it next week, too. Reminder, you have to wear a mask on the boat. It's been more than a year, but they're back. Tourists.
I'm Elise. I'm Carissa. We are just visiting Seattle. We wanted to visit somewhere fun.
Yeah, we're cousins, so we just want to do a little cousin trip.
People like Elise and Carissa, they're the lifeblood of the summer season here. In 2019, tourists spent $8 billion, according to the Tourism Bureau. And with half of U.S. adults now fully vaccinated, people are really itching to travel. And just in time for Seattle's sunniest season.
Yesterday we went to Bainbridge, which was really fun on the ferry, but we've just been kind of exploring the city. Yeah. Today we wanted to do Pike Place as our main thing, so that's been fun.
And then, of course, like the gum wall and stuff like that.
I don't know about the gum wall, but Pike Place Market is a required stop for most visitors. So we headed over to see how things are shaping up for businesses in the new normal. First stop is Saucio's Produce.
This time of year, for instance, we're just starting with our local asparagus, led by the purple asparagus, which is definitely the best of the asparagus. People are unfamiliar with it.
Mike Osborne chats with customers as he navigates beautiful, colorful stacked crates of fruits and vegetables. This is a local shop, but from his spot in the market, he can see visitor traffic is picking up.
Weekends are always busy because that's when people shop. This is a locals market. This is a market that people use to shop. So coming up towards the summer, I think it's going to be real interesting because I think we'll start seeing the people fly again.
And when the pandemic ground this city to a halt last spring, Mike was here at the market.
The market never closed. That's one thing that I want to make specifically clear because unfortunately there's people that think the market closed. We never missed a day. And then it got really slow. The amount of people down here was, was light. Even all summer long it was light. People didn't travel.
What was it like here when it was so quiet?
It was interesting because even though the lack of people didn't transfer completely to the lack of business, okay? So the people that chose to come down here chose to shop. So even though there was maybe 10-15% of the people, business was down 30%.
Saucio's was able to weather the downturn thanks to regulars. Like most groceries and restaurants during the pandemic, Mike pivoted to curbside pickup.
People call. A lot of my customers are elderly, They're, I don't know if elderly is the right word. They're older, okay? They're not elderly. They're just older. They're in their 60s and 90s. They're some of the most vibrant people I know. But they instead of coming in. They just did our curbside service. And as soon as they got vaccinated, they're right back in here again. That was the funnest month probably, was when the seniors that went out and got their vaccinations and came back down, and I realized how much of my family is back.
We heard it over and over. The market is a tight-knit community, and a lot of businesses survived this ridiculously hard year because of loyal customers. We met up with Angela Shen, the founder of Savor Seattle. Before COVID, the company gave food tours at the market where they would stop and have bites from landmark local restaurants.
I was in an industry that was entirely dependent on travelers and restaurants. So both of these things died overnight.
It was time to change it up. So Savor Seattle started delivering market boxes filled with the same merchant's food that people would have tried on the tours. It was a good move, but like a lot of businesses, it's been hard to manage in a constantly changing landscape.
You know, I think one of the biggest challenges is just the unknown of how long you need to hang on for. Because certainly there are resources on a federal level, local level, but you don't know if that aid is coming in a week or 3 months. And so do you hold on to that lease? How much longer do you need to make payroll work? And so it's that uncertainty that gives us that churn. But I do think, I have to give it to the city that there's been a lot of support that has rolled out. It is a testament to the city's commitment to the local identity of our communities, because we don't want to come back to a city that's just full of chain restaurants and big conglomerates,
Another shop, Robot versus Sloth, sits right on the cobblestone corner of First and Pine. Lauren Rudek stuffs her store with fun creations from local artists, just the kind of thing tourists love.
And then we have Zugo over here, which is all our faux taxidermied animals. She hand sews each one of them. They're cute things like unicorns and fuzzy sloths, llamas.
To stay afloat during the pandemic, Lauren got creative when she had to shut down for 2 months. She did reopen last June.
And we started out kind of slowly opening up, where it would just be a couple days a week, and now we're open 6 days a week. And one main thing that we had to do is limit our occupancy. And so what often happens is people have to wait outside for us. So we give them a little scratch-off ticket as a thank you for waiting, and then they can win a button or stickers or a magnet. And that really helps maintain people waiting in line, and then they end up buying something when they come in. So.
Were you worried? How were you thinking about the pandemic? Because being a business owner is not for the faint of heart, but this was an extraordinary situation.
Yeah, I was worried in the beginning. We just kept trying to think of different ways to adapt to it. So we started offering Zoom shopping, where I would give people tours of the store while we weren't allowed to be open. So that's actually a pretty fun way to connect with customers during a time that a lot of people felt really lonely. And there's been a few adaptations for us where we're still limiting our occupancy to 25%, even though we're allowed 50%, just until all of my staff is vaccinated and we feel comfortable with it. We're slowly growing it back. Each month is better and better.
You sound confident that things are going to pick up and that you'll be okay.
Yeah, the last few months we finally are out of the red, so it's been more comfortable now.
Did you learn anything along the way that you're going to take into the post-pandemic world?
I mean, even though limiting our occupancy isn't ideal, I feel like it's actually worked quite well for us because we're able to talk to every customer in here. Before, it would be packed with 20 people and we couldn't connect with every customer. And now we're able to tell them about the store, tell them about the artist. So I actually kind of like that part of it.
Yeah. Do you think it helps your business as well?
Absolutely, yeah. So we track how many people come in and then how many people buy stuff, based on number of sales. And pre-pandemic, we were usually about a 20%, and lately we're 50 to 60%. And that's even if two people come in and one person in the group buys something, then that's our 50%. So it's definitely changed in the pandemic.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And maybe it is that human connection that you're having with people that's has a little more staying power.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people in the community want to see all the small businesses thrive, so they're making a point to come to the market and shop small.
Locals have been incredible support to business owners like Lauren. But by midsummer, cruise ships will be back, and thousands of vaccinated passengers will disembark at the waterfront. Many will likely end up here, shopping the stalls just up the hill. And after a brutal year where tourism dollars were down by half, business owners like Mike Osborne are hopeful about returning to some kind of normal.
I mean, it's great to make everybody happy with great produce and stuff like that, but it's also great to hear about somebody that you knew before they were born, just have their first kid, My love for this family of the market and the community is overwhelming and, maybe stronger.
Seattle Now is produced by Clare McGrane, Caroline Chamberlain Gomez, and Jason Pagano. Jenny Cecil Moore produced today's show. Matt Jorgensen does our theme music. I'm Patricia Murphy. See you tomorrow.